Good day, my friends. If you're over 60, this is not the time to ignore what you're putting into your body. You may think you're eating enough protein, but here's the shocking truth. Eggs, they're great. But there's one surprising food that beats them in protein gram for gram, and it could be the key to saving your muscles from shrinking as you age. So stay with me because this information could transform your strength, your mobility, and your independence. Let's get something straight right now. When it comes to rebuilding or preserving muscle after 60, protein is not optional, it's essential. But here's the catch. Not all protein is created equal. And for decades, many of us have believed that eggs are the gold standard of protein. They're easy, affordable, quick to cook, and yes, they contain a solid amount of protein, around 6 grams per large egg, to be exact. But I want to open your eyes to something today. Something better, something that's been hiding in plain sight, because there's a food that contains more protein than eggs per gram and offers far more in terms of health benefits, especially for those of us past the age of 60. That food? Lentils? Now before you roll your eyes or assume this is another health food hype, listen closely. I'm not telling you to give up eggs completely. I'm not saying they're bad. But what I am saying is this: when you need consistent, muscle-preserving, heart-healthy protein, eggs are not your best option anymore. Lentils are. Let's look at the numbers. 1 cup of cooked lentils contains about 18 grams of protein. That's the same amount as 3 large eggs. Think about that. 3 eggs worth of protein in just 1 cup of lentils. No saturated fat, no cholesterol, no animal hormones. And you're getting so much more than protein. You're getting 8 grams of dietary fiber, essential minerals like iron and magnesium, complex carbohydrates, and a plant compound profile that fights inflammation, supports heart health, and even helps regulate blood sugar. Here's the kicker. Lentils are not just high in protein, they're smart protein. What do I mean by that? I mean they do more for your body than just feed your muscles. They stabilize your digestion, nourish your microbiome, and help reduce chronic inflammation, which is one of the silent killers behind everything from arthritis to Alzheimer's. Eggs can't do that. They simply don't offer the same full-body benefit. Now, a lot of people say, but Dr. Gardner, isn't animal protein more complete? That's a common concern and an outdated one. Lentils, like most plant-based proteins, contain all 9 essential amino acids, just not always in the same ratios as animal foods. But here's what matters: your daily total intake. And unless you're eating nothing but lentils 24/7, your amino acid needs will be met just fine with a varied plant-forward diet. Combine lentils with whole grains like brown rice or quinoa, or even some vegetables, and you've got a full amino acid profile that's ready to rebuild your muscles, fuel your brain, and support your energy levels all day long. Let me also speak to those of you who are dealing with high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, or maybe even pre-diabetes. If your doctor has ever told you to cut back on cholesterol or saturated fats, eggs are a gray area. While newer studies suggest dietary cholesterol isn't as dangerous as once thought, we still know that animal-based diets are linked to increased risk of several chronic conditions. Eggs are high in cholesterol, around 186 milligrams per large egg, almost your entire daily limit if you're watching your heart health. Lentils? 0 cholesterol, 0 saturated fat. They protect your heart instead of burdening it. Let's take a minute to think about satiety. How often do you eat breakfast with a couple eggs and still feel hungry before lunch? That's because while eggs are protein-rich, they lack the fiber that tells your body, "I'm full." Lentils, on the other hand, are loaded with fiber. That means you stay fuller longer, you avoid snacking on empty calories, and your blood sugar stays steady instead of crashing mid-morning or mid-afternoon. Now let me talk to the skeptics out there. Maybe you're thinking, lentils? Aren't those bland and boring? Absolutely not. Lentils are incredibly versatile. They absorb flavor beautifully. Curry them, spice them, add them to soups, stews, salads, or wraps. You can even make lentil burgers, lentil loaf, or throw them into a slow cooker with some garlic, cumin, and a little olive oil. They're not only nutritious, they're delicious when prepared right. And the best part? You can cook a batch for the week and keep them in the fridge ready to go. Let's not ignore the economic advantage either. Eggs, while cheap, still add up if you're eating 2-3 daily. Lentils? dirt cheap. A 1-pound bag costs less than a single carton of eggs and gives you several meals worth of muscle building power. For those on a fixed income, which many retirees are, this matters. Eating healthy shouldn't be expensive. Lentils make it affordable, realistic, and sustainable. And here's what's truly amazing. The more lentils you eat, the less you'll need to rely on supplements. No more worrying about protein powders, expensive collagen mixes, or processed nutrition bars. Lentils deliver real whole food nutrition. They're not lab-made. They're not synthetic. They're what your ancestors ate, and they're what your body still craves. Now, I'm not here to tell you to never eat an egg again. That's not the point. But if you're serious about protecting your muscle mass, especially as you age, if you want to prevent falls, support your metabolism, and stay independent well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, you need more than just eggs. You need a food that's high in protein, heart-smart, gut-friendly, and rich in micronutrients. And that food is lentils. So, what are you waiting for? Start small. Add half a cup to your lunch today. Mix them into your soup tomorrow. Try a lentil salad with chopped veggies and a dash of olive oil. Just start. Your muscles will thank you. Your heart will thank you. And best of all, your future self will thank you. Because it's not about eating trendy superfoods. It's not about cutting every food group out of your diet. It's about choosing what serves your body best. And lentils? They're more than just a substitute for eggs. They're a superior choice for seniors who want strength, stability, and smart nutrition for life. You wake up one morning and things just feel a little different. It's not pain, it's not illness, it's just a little harder to get out of bed. A little slower climbing the stairs, maybe your balance feels off, you chalk it up to aging. I guess this is just what happens when you get older, right? Wrong. That quiet, creeping feeling of weakness, of instability, of needing to hold the railing a bit tighter, that's not just age, that's something much more specific, and it's called sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength that starts around the age of 60. The problem is it doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't strike overnight. It takes months, sometimes years. But make no mistake, it's one of the most dangerous and underestimated threats to your long-term health. Now, let me tell you something I've seen far too often. A patient in their late 60s or early 70s comes in after a fall, broken hip, lost mobility, weeks in rehab. And the one question they all ask is, how did I get this weak? And the answer is always the same. It didn't happen yesterday. It started years ago when your muscle mass quietly began to shrink, and you didn't even notice. Sarcopenia affects up to 30% of adults over 60 and nearly 50% of those over 80. That's half. Half of older adults silently losing their strength, their balance, their confidence. And for what? Because we're told it's just a part of aging, but that's a lie. Losing your strength is not an automatic sentence. You don't have to become frail. You don't have to slow down. You don't have to give up your independence. Not if you understand the cause and fight it at the root. Let's get clear on something. Muscle isn't just for bodybuilders. It's not just about looking toned or being able to lift weights. Your muscle tissue is critical to nearly every part of your health. It protects your bones. It stabilizes your joints. It regulates your metabolism. It helps manage blood sugar. And most importantly, it keeps you moving, walking, standing, lifting, even breathing. When you lose muscle, you lose more than mass. You lose function. You lose mobility. You lose freedom. But here's the good news, and I want you to hear this loud and clear. Sarcopenia is preventable and, in many cases, reversible. Yes, even if you're already in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, you're not too old. You're not too far gone. But you need to act. And the first step is understanding what's really happening inside your body. After age 30, we naturally begin to lose a small percentage of muscle each year, about 3% to 8% per decade, but that process accelerates drastically after age 60. Why? A combination of lower physical activity, hormonal shifts, decreased appetite, and often insufficient protein intake. You see, your body still needs just as much protein, if not more, as you age, but many seniors start eating less, not more. You might eat light to keep your weight down, or because of digestive discomfort, or simply because your appetite fades. But the result, your body doesn't get what it needs to preserve muscle tissue. It's like trying to maintain a house with no materials. Eventually, the structure weakens, the beams collapse, and you end up facing a problem that could have been avoided with a steady supply of the right building blocks. That's exactly what's happening in your body when you don't get enough high-quality protein and muscle-preserving nutrients. Now, let's talk real-life consequences. When muscle mass decreases, your strength follows. Then your balance starts to falter. You're more prone to trips, slips, and falls. And one bad fall in your 70s, that can be the beginning of a long decline. Hospital stays, immobility, even loss of independence. That's not fear-mongering, that's what the data shows us. But again, I want to be clear, you are not helpless here. Muscle is active tissue. It responds to what you feed it and how you use it. When you start supplying your body with the right nutrition, especially high protein, anti-inflammatory, plant-based foods like lentils, beans, quinoa, tofu, and nuts, your body begins to restore. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. And let's not forget, movement. No, you don't need to go to the gym or lift heavy weights. But you do need to move your body daily, walking, stretching, bodyweight exercises, resistance bands. These are not just fitness routines, they are your lifeline. When paired with proper nutrition, they are powerful weapons against muscle loss. What's incredible is how fast the body can respond. I've seen seniors in their 70s double their leg strength in a matter of weeks just by changing what they eat and adding simple home exercises. You don't need perfection, you need consistency. Let me give you a simple scenario. Imagine two 70-year-olds. One eats white bread and tea for breakfast, maybe skips lunch, then eats a light dinner, little protein, no resistance training. That person is losing muscle day by day. Now picture the other. They start the day with a lentil and veggie scramble, maybe add a smoothie with flaxseed and plant protein. They take a short 20-minute walk after lunch. They do chair squats or use resistance bands a few times a week. That person, they're maintaining, even building muscle, same age, same years on this earth, two entirely different futures. And what sets the difference? Choice. So, don't fall for the myth that muscle loss is just part of growing older. It's not. It's the result of neglecting your body's most basic needs. And now that you know the truth, you can no longer ignore it. You can choose to feed your muscles. You can choose to move your body. You can choose strength at any age. Every bite you eat is a signal to your body. It says build or it says break down. So ask yourself, what message are you sending? Are you fueling decline or are you fueling resilience? This isn't just about preventing falls. This is about keeping your independence, about bending down to pick up your grandchild, about getting out of a chair without help, about walking upstairs with confidence, about living life on your terms, not trapped in a bed, a chair, or a facility. You can fight sarcopenia, you can reclaim your strength, but the time to act is now. Because every day you wait, we're losing muscle, but every day you act, you stir, building it back. Choose action, choose nourishment, choose movement, choose strength. Let's step back for a moment and talk about what it really means to eat with purpose, not just for taste, not just to fill your stomach, but to nourish your body deeply and intelligently. Because once you cross the age of 60, your body doesn't just need calories, it needs nutrients with intention. Every bite counts. Every meal matters. And that's exactly why lentils are a superfood for seniors, not just because they're packed with protein, but because they work in multiple systems of the body at once. Yes, you've heard me talk about lentils being higher in protein than eggs, but if that's all you're focusing on, you're missing the bigger picture. Lentils are what I call a smart food. They give your body far more than just a macronutrient. They give you synergy. That means the nutrients in lentils don't just work individually. They work together, creating a cascade of health benefits that go far beyond muscle support. Let's start with the muscle story first, because it's a big one. Muscle is a metabolically active tissue. It doesn't just help you move, it helps you live. And as you age, muscle becomes even more important. Why? because losing it leads to frailty, weakness, balance issues, falls, all the things we fear most in our later years. Protein is critical to preserving and rebuilding that muscle, and lentils deliver a solid 18 grams of protein per cooked cup. But what makes that even more powerful is that lentils also give you iron, magnesium, zinc, and B vitamins, nutrients that are necessary for your body to actually use that protein efficiently. You see, protein without cofactors is like trying to build a house with bricks and no mortar. You need the full team, and lentils deliver the full team. The iron helps carry oxygen to your muscles so they can repair. The magnesium helps regulate muscle contraction and nerve signals. The B vitamins are critical for converting food into usable energy. It's not just protein, it's a complete muscle support package. Now, let's move to your heart. A strong body means nothing if your heart isn't pumping efficiently, and sadly, heart disease remains the leading cause of death for adults over 60. But lentils, they actively support heart health in several ways. First, they're cholesterol-free. Eggs, meat, dairy, these often bring saturated fats and cholesterol to the table. Lentils? Not a trace. Second, they contain soluble fiber, the kind of fiber that binds to cholesterol in your digestive tract and helps your body eliminate it. That's right, lentils literally help scrub your arteries clean. They're also high in potassium, a mineral that helps lower blood pressure by balancing out the effects of sodium. One serving of lentils can give you over 700 milligrams of potassium. That's more than a banana. And let's not forget their content of folate, a B vitamin that helps reduce homocysteine levels, a compound linked to an increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Every bowl of lentils is like a love letter to your heart. And now let's talk about something most people overlook: your gut. Your digestive system isn't just a tube for moving food through your body. It's your second brain, your immune headquarters, and your nutrient absorption center. If your gut isn't healthy, your whole body suffers. And you know what your gut craves more than anything? Fiber. Not fiber from a pill or a powder, but natural plant-based fiber that feeds your healthy gut bacteria. Lentils contain both soluble and insoluble fiber, which means they not only help with digestion and bowel regularity, but also act as a prebiotic, food for the beneficial bacteria that protect your gut lining, regulate inflammation, and even help produce mood-boosting neurotransmitters like serotonin. Let me make this real for you. Ever feel bloated, constipated, tired after meals? That's not just age, that's poor gut function, and lentils can help fix that. They sweep out waste, balance the microbiome, and help restore the integrity of your gut wall. That's foundational health right there. Now let's talk about blood sugar. Type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance are epidemics among older adults. And if you've been told to watch your carbs, I want to clarify something important. It's not about carbs, it's about quality. Lentils are a complex carbohydrate with a very low glycemic index, which means they digest slowly, release glucose gradually, and help prevent those dangerous spikes and crashes that come with refined grains and sugary foods. One study even showed that replacing half of your starchy side dish, say white rice or potatoes, with lentils can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 35%. That's powerful. That's not a drug, that's food doing the work your body needs naturally, gently, and effectively. If you've got prediabetes, or you're on the borderline, or even if you're already managing blood sugar issues, lentils are one of the most therapeutic foods you can eat. And here's the part I love most. Lentils do all of this at once. They don't just support your muscles. They support your heart, your digestion, your blood sugar, and your energy simultaneously. There's no drug, no supplement, no fancy superfood powder that can make that claim with the same level of credibility. And guess what? They're cheap. In a world where health is often sold to the highest bidder, lentils are a humble, accessible, beautiful exception. A 1-pound bag costs less than a coffee. You don't need a prescription, you don't need a meal plan, you don't need a chef. You need a pot, some water, a pinch of salt, and a little time. Now, some of you might be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. Can one food really do all that? The answer is yes, when it's supported by lifestyle habits that work with it, not against it. That means choosing real, whole foods over processed snacks. It means drinking enough water, moving your body every day, getting adequate sleep, and choosing meals that deliver nutrients, not just flavor. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet. You don't need to give up everything you love. But if you simply add lentils to your meals 3 to 5 times a week, I can promise you'll notice a difference. Your digestion will improve. Your energy will be more stable. You'll feel stronger, more balanced, more nourished. And most importantly, you'll feel like you're in control again. Because aging doesn't mean giving up power. It means claiming it intelligently, consistently, and intentionally. That's what lentils help you do. These are not just food. These are a message to your body that says, I care, I sup listening, I sup in building strength from the inside out. Sometimes people think change has to be hard, that it has to be overwhelming, that it requires a big dramatic overhaul, a strict plan, hours in the gym, or complicated diets with weird ingredients. But what if I told you that real, measurable transformation could begin with something as simple as one humble cup of lentils a day? Yes, just 1 cup. If you're over 60, this isn't just another health tip. This is your wake-up call, because that single serving of lentils cooked and seasoned any way you like could be the catalyst that shifts your entire health trajectory. We're not talking about gimmicks here. We're talking about cellular change, about your body regaining its strength, about you reclaiming your energy, your balance, your stamina in just 7 days of consistent action. Now I know that might sound unbelievable, but I've seen it happen. I've seen older adults, many of them skeptical at first, make this one change, adding 1 cup of lentils to their meals daily, and report back within a week saying, I'm not crashing after lunch anymore. My legs feel stronger going up the stairs. My digestion is finally moving like it should. I feel lighter, more clear-headed, less sluggish, and most powerfully, I feel like myself again. Let me explain why this happens and why it happens so quickly. First of all, lentils are what I call a high-return food. That means for every bite you take, you're getting multiple benefits at once. They're not empty calories like white bread or pasta. They're not just protein or just fiber. They are a nutrient-dense powerhouse. You get protein, yes, and not just any protein, but easily digestible, muscle-rebuilding plant protein. 1 cooked cup gives you around 18 grams. That's equivalent to 3 eggs without the cholesterol or the saturated fat. Now, for someone in their 60s or 70s, your body needs at least 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal just to preserve the muscle you have, and many seniors fall short. They nibble at toast, sip some tea, maybe a banana, and think that's enough for breakfast. But that won't cut it if you want to stay strong, mobile, and energetic. Lentils fill that gap efficiently, affordably, and without the digestive strain some animal proteins can cause. But let's look beyond the protein, because that's only the beginning. Lentils are also packed with complex carbohydrates, the kind that burn slowly, giving you steady energy without spiking your blood sugar. If you've ever felt sleepy or foggy after eating, that's often a blood sugar crash caused by high glycemic foods. Lentils, on the other hand, release glucose gradually into your system. They stabilize your energy. They keep you alert. They reduce that post-meal fatigue that so many older adults experience and accept as normal. But it's not normal. It's a sign your body needs better fuel. Within just a few days of daily lentil intake, your energy stabilizes. You wake up with more clarity, you move with more ease. That's not imagination, that's physiology. Your cells are being fed properly and they're responding. But it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about fiber, and not the kind you find in powder or pills, but real plant-based fiber that feeds your gut, improves digestion, and helps your body detox naturally. Lentils provide both soluble and insoluble fiber. This dual action means they help lower cholesterol, regulate bowel movements, and feed your gut microbiome, the collection of bacteria that influences everything from inflammation to immunity to mood. For many older adults, constipation is a daily struggle. 1 cup of lentils a day, just one, often clears that up within a few days. No need for laxatives, no more bloating, no more discomfort. Your gut becomes regular, efficient, and clean. And that makes a massive difference in how you feel throughout the day. Now, let's move into what I call the bonus benefits, things you don't always notice right away, but that are working in your favor behind the scenes. Lentils are rich in magnesium, which helps your muscles contract and relax properly, reducing cramps and stiffness. They're high in potassium, which helps lower blood pressure naturally. They're packed with iron and folate, supporting oxygen transport and red blood cell production, which can help combat fatigue. And here's the most beautiful part, all of this happens together. You're not treating one symptom at a time. You're not chasing pills for digestion, blood sugar, energy, and inflammation. You're addressing the root of it all with one powerful food that works like a nutritional symphony inside your body. Now, I know some of you may wonder, can I really notice a difference in just a week? Absolutely. And here sits why. The human body is incredibly responsive to consistent nourishment. We often think change takes months, even years. But the truth is, your body starts shifting the moment you provide the nutrients it's been missing. Within 24 hours of eating lentils, your blood sugar response improves. Within 48 to 72 hours, your digestion begins to stabilize. By day 5 or 6, your energy levels are noticeably different. Your muscles are getting what they need. Your brain is more alert. Your mood improves. And perhaps most importantly, you start to feel hope again. Because nothing is more motivating than feeling the change. When you wake up with more energy, when you walk with more ease, when your stomach isn't bloated, when you don't feel wiped out after a simple task, that's the fuel that keeps you going. That's what builds momentum. And it all starts with one small commitment, a cup of lentils a day. So how do you make it easy? Batch cook? Make a big pot at the start of the week? Store it in the fridge? Scoop out a serving every day and pair it with your regular meals? Mix lentils with brown rice and herbs? Add them to a salad with olive oil and lemon? Stir them into soup? Wrap them in a tortilla with avocado? It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. If you commit to just 1 cup of lentils a day, I promise you, your body will respond. Your muscles will thank you. Your heart will thank you. Your gut will thank you. And maybe most of all, you still thank yourself. Because it's never too late. That's never too small a step. And your health isn't gone, it's waiting for you to come back. 1 cup, 1 week, 1 transformation at a time. Every day, I hear the same thing from older adults. I don't know where to start. It's step too old for this now. What difference will 1 meal make? And to every single one of those doubts, I respond with this. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, but do it consistently. Because aging gracefully, staying strong, mobile, and independent into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require 6 days a week in the gym or some fancy nutrition app. It requires consistent, deliberate action, and that action doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be real and repeated. Let's be honest, we live in a world of extremes. One moment, you're told to go vegan. The next, it's all about keto. You're bombarded with supplements, superfoods, and biohacking trends that make healthy aging feel like a science project. No wonder so many people give up before they begin. But here's the truth, what your body needs most, especially after 60, is not confusion or complexity, but clarity. And clarity comes from taking small, intentional steps over and over again. Let's take lentils, for example. We talked about how they are rich in protein, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. We seen how they support muscle, digestion, blood sugar, and heart health. But here sets the part no one talks about. They only work if you eat them consistently. The most nutrient-dense food in the world won't help you if it's sitting in your pantry untouched. The most brilliant plan won't save your muscles if it only lasts 2 days. The most powerful diet is the one you can stick to because consistency builds results. Let's compare 2 people. Person A goes on a strict 30-day health kick. They eliminate sugar, go gluten-free, start exercising 2 hours a day, and eat only salads and smoothies. Sounds impressive, right? But by day 10, they're exhausted. By day 14, they're burned out. By day 21, they've quit. Back to old habits. Now, person B? They just make one change. They add 1 cup of lentils to their lunch every day. That's it. No restrictions, no overhauls. Just one consistent action. They keep going for 30 days. No burnout, no confusion, just results. And guess what? Person B is healthier at the end of that month, not because they did more, but because they did something sustainable. This is the mistake I see far too often. We aim for big change fast, instead of small change repeated. And that's the secret most people overlook. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Especially after 60, your body doesn't need to be shocked, it needs to be supported. Let me give you an example from the world of muscle health. After 60, your muscle mass begins to decline due to something called sarcopenia. You don't feel it immediately, it's subtle. A little more effort to stand up, a little more wobble on the stairs, a little more fatigue at the end of the day, but those little things compound. Now here's the good news, rebuilding and preserving muscle also compounds. Eat a high-protein meal today, you stimulate muscle repair. Do 10 bodyweight squats today, you stimulate muscle activation. Walk for 20 minutes daily, you activate blood flow, glucose balance, and fat metabolism. None of these things alone will make you feel like a 25-year-old again, but together and consistently, they transform you. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. Your bones get stronger, your balance improves. Your metabolism regulates. Your digestion runs smoother. Your energy lifts. And it all starts with choosing action over inaction, consistency over perfection. Because let's face it, we've all tried diets. We've all made New Year's resolutions that fizzled out by February. Why? Because we think if we miss one day, we've failed. But that's not how the body works. The human body doesn't demand perfection. It rewards persistence. You skipped a day? So what? Start again tomorrow? You ate a processed meal out of convenience? Fine. Add lentils back in the next meal. You missed your walk because of rain? No problem. Stretch indoors for 5 minutes instead. This is real life health, not some idealized version of life, not filtered through Instagram, but lived day by day, messy, imperfect, human, but consistent. And here's something else I want you to understand deeply. Every small action you take tells your body something. When you reach for lentils instead of white rice, you start telling your body, I choose nourishment. When you get up and stretch, you start telling your muscles, you still matter. When you go for that short walk, you're telling your brain, I'm still moving forward. Your body is always listening, and it responds. Not to big declarations, but to daily proof that you're on its side. Let me bring it all together. You want strength? Feed your muscles daily. You want energy? Fuel your body with stable nutrients daily. You want better digestion? Support your gut daily. You want independence? Move your body daily. None of this happens once. It happens again and again and again. That's how health is built, not in moments of motivation, but in rituals of consistency. So here's my challenge to you. Don't try to do everything. Don't try to be perfect. Just start. Start with 1 cup of lentils a day. Start with a 10-minute walk. Start with water instead of soda. Start with 1 positive thought in the morning, and then repeat day after day, week after week. That's how people in their 60s become stronger in their 70s. That's how people in their 70s stay sharp in their 80s. That's how people in their 80s remain independent well into their 90s. Not by chasing perfection, but by building consistency. 1 choice, 1 bite, 1 day at a time. And if you ever think that's too late, too small, or too hard, remember this. You don't have to be extreme, you just have to be consistent.